I was asked a question here recently. Someone asked me, can I be a Viking pagan if I'm not white? Well, unfortunately, I have an answer that's going to make some of you mad. The answer is absolutely. You can be whatever the hell you want, and there's nothing wrong with it, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Race is a construction. It has no bearing on your ability to feel spirit in any tradition. If you hear the call of Odin and you're not white, you're anything, outside of Europe, that's excellent. Odin wanders wide. All the gods do. Heck, even Freya. That makes a lot of people who are folkish angry, but I find that actually analyzing the idea of race helps. What does it mean to be white? These people will say, well, you have to be white to be a heathen or to be a Norse pagan or an Anglo-Saxon pagan. What is white? A couple centuries ago, you had to be Protestant to be white. How does that work? You had to be Anglo-Saxon, fair of skin. Anything else and you weren't white. I wouldn't have been considered white back then because of my Irish ancestry and my Scottish ancestry. These days, white seems to be anyone with pale skin who's from Europe and Italy and Eastern Europe. And basically, if you have pale skin and your family primarily is from the Old World, and you have Old World or Americanized customs, traditions, well, then you're white. I think that is an interesting idea because it blurs who we really are individually, which I don't like. But at the same time, it also, potentially could give, I don't know, a certain sort of identity. No, white isn't an identity. White is a placeholder term for people who are too lazy to figure out their own ancestry. That's what it is. If you're an Australian Aboriginal, you're from Japan, you're from South America, from anywhere in the world, and you feel the call of the heathen gods, by all means, follow it. If you feel the call of your own ancestral traditions, you should follow those as well. I consider myself a heathen. I look deeply into my own ancestry because that's what appeals to me, not out of some sense of duty per se. I think duty adds to the drive, wanting to do right by your physical ancestors. But there are non-physical ancestors in every tradition that will shepherd you through and take you in if you feel the call of that tradition. And who knows, if you believe in reincarnation, and a lot of people around the world do, you may have been in a Norse culture or Proto-Norse culture or an old European culture in some former life, some strong former life that really echoes with you now. And why should anyone tell you you can't follow up that side of yourself, that side of your spirituality, that past life, simply because you were born in a body that wasn't from that part of the world at all? Spirituality is not something that we should limit. Spirituality is something that we should allow people to explore. People go off and do silly stuff, put feathers in their hair and dance around and go, I'm an Indian. Maybe you need to, instead of getting angry at those people, instead of us getting angry at those people, screaming cultural appropriation and all that, maybe what we need to do is sit down with these people, if we can. Some people are belligerent, but sit down with these people on an individual basis and say, hey, what is it that you like about the feathers in your hair? What is it that you like about Native American spirituality? And you'll probably get a silly answer, like, oh, I love the animals and the eagles. Okay, well, let's go meet Eagle. You probably scare the pants off of anybody if you do that. Anybody like that if you do that. But I tend to be someone who believes in taking people gently by the hand and jumping into the deep end with them. That's how I learned. It's not right for everybody, but it certainly is how I learned. But I digress. No matter what your skin color is, you should gravitate towards the gods that call to you, or the God, if you're a monotheist, or to the source, if you're more of an agnostic. Whatever form it takes for you, you should pursue that. Heck, if you're a dyed-in-the-wool atheist, you should chase that down as far as it goes. You never know what you'll find. You really never know what you'll find at the bottom of that rabbit hole. It's worth looking. Always, it's worth looking. So my brothers and sisters around the world, brothers, sisters, and non-binary siblings, you don't have to be any particular skin color to be a heathen, to be a real heathen. You know what you need to be a real heathen? You need to feel it right here. You need to feel it back of your neck. You need to feel it when you put out your hands and you reach out for that voice in the ether. That's how you become a real heathen. Simply to hear, to feel. That's it. So go out there and go as deep as you can. And screw what anyone else says. Be you.